Welcome everyone. My name is Tyler Ward and with me today is Lenora Stevenson. We work for the state of North Dakota. I am an information technology specialist and Lenora is a PowerSchool specialist. Lenora, can you take a second to introduce yourself to the folks and what you do with PowerSchool?
Sure, and I think I actually know most everybody who's on here. So, yep, I'm working with the PowerSchool. So I've worked with some of you. I know Melanie, I know you, but I haven't worked with you through the PowerSchool. And since Rhonda usually takes care of that, but we of course service all the schools in the state on mainly the administrative end of PowerSchool. And so happy to be able to help Tyler out a little bit today, though.
Awesome, thanks, Lenora. As I mentioned before, we both work with EduTech. EduTech is the Educational Services Division within North Dakota Information Technology. NDIT is doing whatever possible to ensure that the entities we support are able to function in a wide variety of situations. For K-12 schools, we know our North Dakota administrators and educational personnel are carefully navigating how to proceed with classes, communication, and collaboration while addressing concerns around COVID-19. EduTech's mission remains to provide technology services and leadership to improve teaching and learning in North Dakota PK-12. We are continuing that mission today by providing this webinar and are here to support our North Dakota K-12 community with support, training, and resources. This webinar is available for EduTech hours that can be turned into graduate credit. Once you have accumulated 15 EduTech hours, you can turn that into 1 graduate credit with our NDSU partnership. We want to make sure that these hours are available to as many people as possible. Please use the link on your screen to formally register, as we will use that information to gather participant data today. If you do not have a K-12 email account, guest users can add their name and email into the chat window. Lenora and I will double check this information to make sure that all the folks today are included. Note that if you're watching this recording at a later date, you may not be eligible to receive credit. Again, I would like to thank you for joining us today. The topics we're going to discuss are Buncee and Wakelet. Buncee is a platform that makes creating presentations fun and exciting for students. Wakelet is a digital board where you can add resources and share them with anyone. You can also add collaboration as well. Note that both of these platforms that we'll be discussing today are partnered with Microsoft, which allows you to help integrate them into products such as OneNote and Microsoft Teams. We're going to get started with a short video about Buncee.
Welcome to Buncee for Education, the new, fun, and easy-to-use creation and presentation tool for you and your students. Buncee's exciting web-based digital canvas is getting students engaged in a whole new way, turning up the excitement, letting you and your students easily add any kind of multimedia to your classroom and beyond. With a Buncee EDU subscription, you'll create interactive lesson plans and presentations, integrate technology into your classroom in ways that help support Common Core standards, flip your classroom with dynamic multimedia lessons, send home exciting classroom news or invitations, and so much more. Using Buncee's digital canvas is really easy. Everything's stored in the cloud, and there's nothing to download or install on your computer. You or your students just select a background, add, resize, rotate, arrange, animate, even record audio. Make your creations pop and include great online content without ever leaving Buncee. Then publish and share with your students, parents, or your community via email, social media, or clickable PDF. Buncees look great on mobile devices too, so students can review their lessons anywhere. Your subscription lets you and your students play with Buncee, and you get an easy-to-use dashboard for assignments, checking work, and grading. So sign up, get started, and get your students engaged on buncee.com today.
All right, so from that video, you can see that we're going to discuss how to create a Buncee and share it out with our students. So I'm going to switch screens here and head to buncee.com. So once you are logged into Buncee, you'll notice on the main website here on the page, you have some options: discover, get inspired, and for schools. But on the right hand side is where we're going to log in. So if this is your first time ever visiting Buncee, You'll have to click sign up and create an account. For me, I will log in today, and I'm going to use my Microsoft K-12 credentials. So again, since Buncee is a part of Microsoft's world, you can now use your K-12 account to log in. And I prefer this method as it's one less thing for me to have to create and remember for a password. All right, now that we are logged into Buncee, the first place that drops me to is their dashboard. And you can see here on my screen all of the Buncees that I've been practicing with. So right off the bat, we can create a Buncee. I can go back to any previous Buncee I created and continue to edit it. Over here under the shared with me option would be Buncees that have been shared with me by the Buncee community or maybe teachers or students that I have connected with. Up here we have boards. These are boards that you can share out with the community, and we'll touch on here a little bit later. And then off to the right here, we have something called the Ideas Lab, which is the Buncee community. And we have the create option, which will take you to a Buncee to create right off the bat. So we're gonna go back to my Buncees here, and I want to show you one that I've been practicing as an example here. All right, so here's my Buncee, and now that I am sharing it, I can click on the bottom here and slide through the cards that are available. And this is what your students would see when you would share it out with them. As you can see here, you can insert videos. This happens to be one of our EduTech quick tip videos. If I click on it, you'll hear
in this quick
our
tip
video.
I'm going to show you how you can take a picture of a page in the book.
So that's a great way to incorporate more options to add students to share content with as well. And you can make activities as well, such as a simple scavenger hunt. They also have these cool things called panoramic images or 360-degree images from their library. So you can take the students on maybe a virtual field trip. And they also have some other options here. They have these cool things called stickers, and you can add them anywhere you want to jazz up your presentation. They have 3D images. So as you can see here, the shark, I can click and drag it around to see it from many different angles. And then also you can hyperlink options as well. And that's what this little icon is showing us here, which is tied back to this image. So as a student, if I were to click on it, I would be taken to another resource. And that one's blank. All right, so let's go back to my Buncee dashboard here, and let's begin to create one here. So from my dashboard, I will click Create a Buncee, and you'll be introduced to this pop-up saying that they have upgraded their services to now what is called Buncee 3.0. So I'm just going to click that to continue. And I'm presented with an option here to start from a template. There are thousands of templates inside of Buncee, and you can see here they're based on various categories, maybe some time frames that are coming up, such as Mother's Day or Earth Day. Or I can go to the left-hand side here and look more specific based on the topics. Okay. But again, for me, I'm just going to start from scratch. So I'm going to click Start from Scratch. All right, now that we are here, here's some navigation stuff we'll go over. On the left-hand side would be what they call your pages, or if you're a PowerPoint fan, these would be considered your slide deck cards. On the top, you have an undo and redo button. You have some settings. You can resize the canvas so you can see it in its entirety. A reset button, a zoom so you can zoom in and out. Oops. There we go. I can pan, which means I can take the slide and drag it around. And then off to the right, I have items. So I'm going to get started and I'm going to choose a background image. So I'm going to click on the option here. Uh-oh. Well, when in doubt, click on that one below. Now, on the bottom here, we have lots of options to choose from, again, from their template library. So you could sit here for many hours and just look at what the different categories there are. But I'm just going to use one of their pre-made ones. And let's choose this one. So once I select a background image, I can choose to tie it to this page or to all pages. For today's work, I'm just going to add it to just this page. And now this background style has been applied. And then to add any items, I can click on the plus sign here to get started, or add additional items up here using the plus sign as well. Both will take you to the same spot. Now, once you click the plus sign, this is where you will find the options to add text, shapes, drawing tools, 3D Buncee images such as that shark I showed you a moment ago. You can add animations, stickers, cute little Buncee messages that they have created, emojis if you are in love with emojis. With this section here, we can add those web images or websites. We can also add those 360-degree images that I talked about. And if you're into Khan Academy, they are also partnered with them and you can share their content straight into Buncee as well. These options here will allow you to upload files or images from your device. You can import websites. You can even record a video or take a picture of yourself. And then lastly here on the far right, we have some options for frequently asked questions and then multiple choice questions. So this is where you can use these options to check for student understanding. And then the QR code as well to help share this with your students and families. So I'm just going to click some text here. I'll be presented with a text box. So I will have to double click it to edit so that I can add a title to my Buncee today. All right, that looks pretty good. On the bottom of the screen, you'll notice that I have some options. I can choose to add a link, so hyperlink it. I can add audio recording. I can change the text color or opacity, which is how transparent it looks, or like that ghost effect. The font here gives you many different styles. So if I didn't like this style font that they give me, I can highlight it and then choose something I think is better suiting. I can change the text size to be larger or smaller. And some more text options such as bold, underlined, italicized, lists, and alignment as well. So let's really jazz this up here. Let's make this nice and big. I'll resize the box. And once it is there, I'll have to click out of it to move it and reposition. So let's say I want it in the center. There we go. And for the fun of it, I'm going to add one more image. And let's make that a Buncee animation. So Buncee animations are kind of like GIFs. So if you love using those in your classroom, you can find those here. So let's add this one. And now, as you can see, here it is. I can also resize it to make it larger or smaller. I can also click on this top handle here to change the angle that it's presented at. All right. So let's move on to another card here. Now I have some options here. I can add from a blank page, or I can stitch something in from a previous Buncee that's been shared with me. In this case, we're just going to click a new page and just continue on. And we're going to add a different background. So I want to show you next one of the categories here. Let's say it's for education, since we're all educators here. And let's go with poem in my pocket. And again, I'll apply it to this page. And again, this background will only be on this page. And I will add some instructions here for my students for their poem. So I'll reposition this. And I'll give them some instructions to please share your poem here. And again, I can jazz up the font styles. And I can choose to align it in the center. And there we are. Pretty easy. So Lenora, do we have any questions so far coming in on how I'm creating this?
No, no questions.
Okay, I'm just going to continue on here. I'm going to make a new slide. I want to show you how to add some more fun stuff here. So let's click on shapes. And shapes, again, you'll be presented with your generic shape that you would find in PowerPoint, kind of like lines and crosshairs and so forth. So let's say I want to add a semicircle. Here it is. I can make it larger. Let's change the color to this awesome orange. And then let's kind of make it transparent. Okay, so that's how you add shapes. You can draw, design them any way you choose. Let's say I also wanted to add a 360-degree image. So I can click that, and then I have to search by a keyword. They don't have a template category set up for us yet. So let's say I wanted to find a park. I can look through all of these images for a park. Pick that one. And now this image is loaded into our Buncee. And as you can see here, the image looks a little bit curved. And again, that's because it's a 360-degree image. And the only way to be able to click and drag it is if I were to click preview. I'll give it a title so I know which Buncee it is I'm working on to come back to. So that's also an important thing as well. When you are done, you will have to give it a title so you know what it is. But now that I clicked preview, I will find that Buncee page. And then I'll have to come here and click on that picture. And now I can see this beautiful park that I have shared inside of my Buncee. Now that I'm done looking at this page, I want to continue to edit it. I'll go back to the top and click edit. All right, so I want to add a new page here. We're going to add an item. And let's talk uploading from your device really quickly. So right off the bat, you'll get this option to upload anything from your device. Or if you've already uploaded things, you will be able to click on them as it's in your library. So let's say I wanted this picture in here. I can click add. And now my picture that I've uploaded previously is here and is able to be accessed as content. So let's add some text here. And I'm going to actually tie some audio to this text. So we'll title this lesson to the question. And then I'm going to click on the audio option down here to the left. And I will be given this option to record. So Buncee will ask you for your permission to use your microphone and camera from your device. You'll have to click allow. Once you have done that, then you'll be presented with the recording screen here. When I'm ready to record, I will click the red button. And now I can ask my students the question regarding this picture. Now that I'm done recording, it'll save this recording into this specific Buncee, I will make sure I have to click on that to select it and then upload. And now it is being uploaded to that text. And now this audio file is attached. Now, as you can see here, I don't see that option for that audio, but if I were to click on preview, and now find that Buncee card, you can see I have this red play option here, and this is where students would come to click to listen to the question. Now I can ask my students the question regarding this picture. Pretty neat, right? Let's go back into edit. Go back to the same card here because again, we want to add more stuff to it. And now let's talk about recording a video. So since I gave Buncee permission to access my microphone and camera now, you should be able to see me as I'm working downstairs in my basement, and I can click start recording. And now I can pose the question in a video style format to my students as well. And again, it'll archive it for me to this Buncee. I can click upload. And now here is my video. Again, I will have to click preview to watch the video, but now it is here and my students can see me and learn more about the topic at hand. The last thing I would like to show you here to add is questions. So I'm going to choose a frequent question, and it's a free response, so it's just kind of an open-ended question. Ask my questions. How are they doing today? Click save. And now there is that option. If I wanted to change that question or re-edit it because I typed something wrong, I have to double click to see that option appear again, as you can see here. So now I can click preview. I'll find that card. And now here it is. And then as a student, I can type in, I am well. All right. So now that we've talked about creating Buncees, let's take a second to talk about how to share them out. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard here on the top of the screen. Here is my Buncee. On the top right here, there's those wonderful more options icon here, or I like to call it the snowman. And I will have to edit it. And then I'll go to the top right and click share. So when I share a Buncee with anybody, I'm presented with lots of options. So to begin with, you'll be taken to the settings and you will decide who can view this Buncee. Is it anybody with a link? Is it just anybody in general? Or is it only me? In this case, for your students, we would select anyone with a link, so you would share that link with them. And then you have these two options here to make comments available about your Buncee, and if it's going to be copyable, which simply means your students would take the Buncee you would give them, copy it to their account, and then make any changes, and then have to share it back with you so you could see their work. The next option here to share is called a code. So this is where you find the hyperlink to share with your students, or you can use the embed code. So if you are wanting to put this on your website or maybe a Microsoft Sway, you could copy this as well and embed it there. You can also email it to your students if you know their email addresses by clicking send email. If you have created a class, then you have the share with students option. So I could share it with just a couple students here. And now those 3 students would have that specific Buncee shared with them. RSVP will actually make a calendar invite sent to you via email if you want students to meet with you at a certain time. And then social, this is how you can share it across multiple social media platforms. As you can see here on the screen, we have Facebook, Twitter, Google Classroom, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Microsoft Teams. So since I'm a Microsoft Teams frequent user, I could share it with them by clicking Teams. And then I'm presented with a dialog box here that will allow me to share it with a specific classroom team. Or finally, I can click download and choose to download certain pictures, or I can download the entire thing as a PDF and then share that out with my students that way as well. So Lenore, do we have any questions more about Buncee before we shift gears into Wakelet?
Yeah, so Delon was asking if it, like when you did the free response question, if it records the answer for each student and where, and I answered back that it would come back into that Buncee. The student has to share that Buncee back with you.
Correct. So what that looks like is this. I'm gonna go to my shared with me option. And this is where I was working with my colleague Ben the other day. And I had Ben complete this math assignment. And what happened was he had to copy this into his account and then make any changes. So this is all Ben's work that we can see here. There we are. So you can see Ben here use the drawing tool to figure out if it was addition or subtraction for the question here, and just drew in what he thought the answer was. Now, one last thing I do want to show you too, again, I mentioned that Buncee is a part of Microsoft's world. You may have noticed this icon here across some of the screens previously. This is the Immersive Reader. So inside of Buncee's now, you have the Immersive Reader tool. I can click on that to turn on the Immersive Reader, and it will read to me the content that's on the screen. Now, it's only going to read the text, so any drawing marks that we saw from Ben a second ago won't show up here. So we can see here by clicking play.
Copy of template, add or subtract. Use the drawing tool to add a.
So you get the idea. So now the students can have the questions read to them. But as you can see here, any sort of drawing that Ben made does not appear yet. All right, is there anything else we're missing, or you think we're ready to switch gears here, Lenora?
No other questions coming in, unless you want to. Anybody
Yep,
else?
I can take a second.
Doesn't look like anybody's unmuting their microphone or typing anything, so should be able to go to Wakelet unless somebody has anything.
Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to switch gears here to my next tab, and here is Wakelet. So Wakelet actually remembered me this morning when I was working on this yesterday, and it signed me in. So I'm going to quickly sign out and show you the Wakelet homepage. All right, so here's Wakelet.com. Wakelet, as I mentioned before, is a kind of like a digital board that you can use to share content. So think of it kind of like one of those poster boards in your classroom that you change from maybe month to month based on the seasons or the topic that you're covering in your class. So once you're logged in, once you are on Wakelet's page, you will have to click sign up to create an account. And then for me, I'm just going to click log in, and I'm going to choose again the Microsoft option. So Wakelet is again part of their world, so that's where we get that wonderful option to appear. And I just prefer it because again, it's one less thing for me to have to remember. But if you want to choose to create an account, you totally can. All right, so now that we're logged into Wakelet here, we'll just go through some simple navigation here. So on the left-hand side, you will have a public profile that you can create to share information out. So if you're creating resources that you think are valuable to the community, they would like to know who created it and give credit when credit is due. You can also see I am following 4 different people inside of Wakelet, and I have 3 people following me back. Collections here are the collections that I've created. So you can see here the number 5 is based off the 5 wonderful creations I've made. Bookmarks are things that are bookmarked inside of your collections, or if you have found little bits of information from other Wakelet items, and then you just save them specifically. And then group collections are groups that you are a part of and are contributing to as well. On the top of the page here, we have a search option, so you can search for various topics. So let's say you want to find remote learning. I am then taken to collections that are hopefully based on remote learning. So perfect. So now I can begin to come through here and choose which ones I think look inviting. So let's say I like that picture there. I can now begin to look through who is Kay, all the information she has decided to share with us. If I really like this, I can click the save option here and it'll save it to my profile. And then if I really like the content she makes and I hope to use more that she has shared with us, I can click follow. And now I'm following her just like I would on any social media platform. The next option up here is called Surf School. So this is Wakelet's kind of free resources for educators. So you can see they have resources that'll help you learn how to collect resources, any PD stuff, lesson planning. Catching the waves is how you would share content out. So some ideas you could use are sharing resources with students, teachers, newsletters, and so forth. And then if you're really into Wakelet, you'll be considered a pro surfer and you'll be sharing lots of things then. Okay. So now that I've kind of navigated away from my profile page here, I'm going to click on home, and that's going to take me back to everything that I have created. So I'm going to show you a Wakelet I have started. It's coding and activities resources. So from here, a Wakelet looks simply like this. You will upload what is called a cover image using their library, or if you have one from your device, you can do that. And then you can add some simple text, and then all of the content from here on down is resources that I have gathered, such as NYSERC, code.org, MakeCode, if you're familiar with that platform, Python, Makey, Scratch. So you can see here, these are the resources I began to collect. All right. So I'm going to go back to my home page. I'm just going to create a new one for you. All right. So as you can see here, we're getting ready to start. I can add a cover image based on the topic we are going to look at. I'm going to choose an image from a library. And let's say I want to make a cooking Wakelet so I can gather up a bunch of recipes to share with my students to try at home. So I click on the cover image. There it is. I will title this recipes. And then I can also give this a description as well. Check out these amazing recipes I have found. All right. So next are these options on the bottom. They're just green plus signs. And this is how we add content to Wakelet. So we can paste URLs. So we can simply just go up to the address bar, copy and paste. We can add text. And then I can choose to bold text. I can italicize or underline it. I can also add headings, or I can even add hyperlinks to text as well. So you can see that I gave my students a little content here about me, how much I love mac and cheese. And again, we can add more content such as from YouTube, Twitter, tweets, bookmarks that'll tie you back to other bookmarks that you have saved to your account. You can upload images from, again, the image library or your device. You can share PDFs, or if you're a Google Drive or OneDrive user, you can pair your accounts into Wakelet to have quick access. Or if you want to try a little bit of a flipped classroom, you can use the flip grid option, which uses what is called their short camera, which allows you to record short videos to share inside of Wakelet and be able to, again, use that flipped classroom model as well. So let's go out to the good old interweb here and find a mac and cheese recipe. To share with my students because they know how much I love mac and cheese. So go out and find one here really quickly. All right. There we are. I can now just copy this image, or copy this URL, excuse me, go back into Wakelet, click on the plus sign, and then paste the URL.
Hello, this is Chef John.
And now, as you can see here, this URL is being added to this Wakelet. Now let's say I want to add a YouTube video. I can click on YouTube and just begin to search by typing in my category and then add more content that way. So you can see here, Paula Dean added a mac and cheese recipe. That's great and totally ironic because I didn't realize that was going to appear. But again, now I can add this to my Wakelet and it is now embedded. Whoops. So now let's say I need to rearrange some stuff. I can go to the right hand side here and choose move up or down. If I want this to be at the top of my screen, I can click this option and now it is at the top of my entire Wakelet board. Or if I need to move it down one, just to again do some readjusting, there we are. Okay. Now let's say I'm done working on this Wakelet and I want to be able to share this out. Right now I have the option on the top right that says private, meaning I can only see this collection. If I choose unlisted, this will create a link that will share it with others, or I can say public and then everybody in the world can see this. So we'll choose unlisted and done. All right, so now here is my Wakelet for cooking. And as you can see here, there's the options that we've added. Now I'm sure you're noticing here, this icon reappeared that was from Buncee. Again, this is the Immersive Reader option. So again, this comes from Microsoft since they are partners. I can click on this and now the Immersive Reader will read the screen to me.
Check out these amazing recipes I have found.
All right, pretty cool. So next I'm ready to share this out. So again, I made this unlisted, so it makes a shareable link. And I have these options. I can share a QR code by sharing it on my screen if I'm in the classroom, or I can use a social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Remind, or Teams. So if I want to share this into Teams, I can click that. And again, I get a dialog box that says, hey, where would you like this to go? So again, I can share it to a channel or an assignment inside of Microsoft Teams. Let's talk about contributors. So contributors is where you can bring in other helping hands to make your Wakelet grow with more information. So I can choose to invite contributors by giving them this copyable link or this copy code or a QR code. Or I can choose to invite others from the Wakelet community, or I could just type in an email address such as Lenora and then just click add, and now Wakelet will email her when I click send. And now she'll get an email, and she could click the link inside of that email to become a contributor. So let's talk about the copy code really quick. So I'm going to copy this code. If I were to share that out, I will have to log out for this. But if you share a copy code with anyone, they just have to simply visit wakelet.com and then go to the enter code option from the home page and enter the code that you have shared with them. And now they can be a part of your Wakelet board. Pretty cool. So now I can have those same edit rights as I would if I were to be the owner of this as well. So Lenora, I'm going to take a second here and pause. Do we have any questions coming in at all?
No questions. And if you end up going back, since you sent me the invite, I was able to I added a YouTube video to your Wakelet.
Okay, perfect. I'll just dive back in here.
Anybody else have any questions? I added a stir-fry recipe at the bottom of your Wakelet.
Okay. I must be conflicting with itself here, but I promise you, I bet you it's there. So one thing I do want to talk about here quickly is Coppa compliance for both Buncee and Wakelet. Both platforms will allow students to create an account. They recommend that they be over 13 years of age, and both parties will not share any personal information with other entities that they are a part of. So just know that they are Coppa compliant. So if you do decide to use this with your students, it's acceptable. So let me try to get rid of this bar here. It's still there. I'm going to go back into Buncee really quick. I do want to share with you quickly the Ideas Lab. I noticed I skipped over that. So with the Ideas Lab inside of Buncee, this is their community of where you can find pre-made Buncees and begin to copy them to your account and modify them to fit the needs of your classroom. So right off the bat, you're just kind of dropped in here to begin browsing at your leisure. But let's say you want to find a topic based on, let's say, math. So you can click math. And then if you want to find a specific grade level, let's say it's high school, you'll be then able to search through all those options now to just a few. So that's a really cool thing inside of Buncee as well. So are there any other questions out there? Okay. Well, with hearing none, then I'm going to wrap up our webinar. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. What does Buncee run? I see that it's a free trial right now, but on a regular school year, do they do like a package deal for educators, or is it by license, or how does that work usually?
So for Buncee, we'll go to discovery and pricing, and you will have to buy a subscription at some point. Premium will allow you to get certain features, and then the higher you go up their list here, you get more options unlocked. So right now with the free Buncee, you only are limited to 3 that you can create. You get limited access to some of their templates and so forth. But you can see here, the further to the right we go, the more we get. And school districts can purchase a subscription. The hope is that more than one teacher uses it as well. Right now with their plans, I haven't seen anything changing for the current time frame. So what we see now is what we get at this moment. But if schools are interested, you can click for schools, and then you'll have to either request a demo or a quote and then visit with Buncee to work out any details.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Are there any other questions out there?
No questions yet, but just to let Lori and Josephine know, I did add you into the registration so that you get credit for attending the class today. The rest of you had already been registered.
Okay. Well, I would like to end this webinar today by thanking all of you for attending. As always, we are here to assist you in being successful. Please do not hesitate to contact our help desk using the email address help@k12.nd.us for support and any other virtual training inquiries. And note that the resources today from today's webinar are found here on the bottom with 2 bit.ly links. And just for fun, I decided to make those resources available through Wakelet. So thank you so much for your time, and I wish you the best of luck during this time, and have a wonderful spring.